I will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA, not driven overseas. I will support the right to self-custody to the nation's 50 million crypto holders. I say this with your vote. I will keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from your Bitcoin.
Hey guys, welcome back. Now, just in the past 1 month, I believe the tide has now shifted and we're starting to get a number of flippenings in the crypto market. Crypto has just flipped politically, becoming a core issue in the next election. Crypto has also flipped in Congress, getting bipartisan agreement from both Democrats and Republicans. And as you'll soon see in this video, there's been even more. Now, what you may not know is that Coinbase has just delivered its State of Crypto Summit this week in New York. And some very valuable insights were just shared by Brian Armstrong and Cathie Wood. And with Coinbase having hundreds of institutions on their books and Cathie Wood launching one of the big ETFs, they've got some great insider info on what is really going on. And so in this video, I'll be sharing my top 3. Okay, so first up, let's start with what Brian Armstrong believes is the #1 roadblock stopping crypto from exploding right now.
Well, in the US, probably the biggest obstacle is regulatory clarity.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, the US is a little behind on this. Europe has already passed comprehensive crypto legislation. We've seen most of the G20 is actually already drafting or has implemented crypto legislation. And so there's broadly this recognition that this technology is here to stay. It has incredible innovative potential. I just got back from DC, a couple days in DC. I met with 12 or 13 different members of the Senate. The Senate is very eager to move on legislation now after the House passed the FIT 21 bill, the market structure bill, with strong bipartisan support. More than 2/3 of the House voted for it. And so the Senate now has a couple of bills being drafted that they're hopefully going to turn this into law, whether it's in this Congress later this year or the next Congress. So we've got a lot of work to do there, and it's important that America gets this right. There has been a bit of this turf war between the CFTC and the SEC, the two federal regulators. Are these commodities? Are they securities? Our point of view is that the tokens, underlying assets are commodities. There could be an investment contract or something like that on top of it. But if we don't have Congress step in and act, the lack of clarity is just going to be weaponized and not allow the industry to thrive onshore.
And so, no secret that the SEC has been trying to stop and delay the crypto market from flourishing with Operation Choke Point. However, the flippenings continue with the first crypto bill, FIT 21, passing through the House and now flying on its way to the Senate. And hot off the press just today, the SEC has been forced to drop one of its lawsuits against Consensus. Again, the tide is changing and excellent to see. Next up, one of the other big insider insights that we get from Brian is what is going on with the corporations and institutions, and another flippening has just occurred.
Retail did jump into this space a little sooner over the last decade, but I'd say in just the last year or two, we've seen an incredible amount of institutional adoption, and I feel like institutions are fully in it at this point. We released some stats in this State of Crypto report that showed 56% of the Fortune 500 executives report their company is working on something on-chain in crypto, right? And so it's the biggest companies in the world. BlackRock is helping tokenize real-world assets. JP Morgan has an on-chain project called Onyx. Google Cloud is accepting crypto payments. St. Jude's Hospital, and then fintechs like Stripe and PayPal, they're adding stablecoin support. So 56% of the Fortune 500 is doing something. I think this is really here to stay. It's already happening amongst institutions. And Coinbase can play a big role there too. Our Coinbase Prime product is the most successful in the institutional space, and we've got about 1/3 of the top 100 hedge funds are clients. A lot of them are also looking for that regulatory clarity moment. And I think when I talk to the institutional investors, often they'll say, once we feel like there's regulatory clarity, which will not be some moment in time, it's just a gradual trend that's happening. They're like, that's what would cause us to put 5-10% of our portfolio in instead of a couple percent.
And so a couple of really big things there. Firstly, it's the corporations that have just flipped, so 56%. So the majority of the Fortune 500 companies are now doing something with crypto. And second, he alluded to the fact that institutions are really close to 5xing their positions, going from 2% to 10% once a definitive piece of crypto legislation goes through. And I believe it's going to happen in this cycle. Okay, and to finish up, just when you thought that the Bitcoin ETFs couldn't get any better, after smashing all the previous records, they then dropped this bombshell.
Having just launched the spot Bitcoin ETF, what we've seen is none of the major platforms have approved it yet. So the flows we've seen, and they've been great, have either been just from retail or they've been donated by Grayscale. A lot of it was donated by Grayscale, but we're still waiting for an approval, even from the platforms that do tend to approve new, interesting, different financial instruments. They're waiting, and maybe all this is we need one, and then there'll be a very rapid adoption, because competitively it's going to be very important to have this new asset class, we believe, on platforms.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think you could argue we haven't really seen the real inflows happen even in ETFs, and they've already been really good. I mean, from the numbers I've seen, there's far more demand in ETFs than is being mined every day from Bitcoin, for instance, which is a positive indicator. But you're right. I think Morgan Stanley, UBS, some of these firms, they haven't really enabled the ETFs where we'll see even larger inflows in the future potentially. I don't know why that is, but the ETFs actually is an area where we did get regulatory clarity. So this will happen in bits and pieces, and I think it's an incredible first step.
While many people have been freaking out about the latest crypto price action, there's been some amazing crypto developments going on right now. Cathie Wood and Brian Armstrong are two big pioneers in the space and a great place to get some insider info. And we've recently had a set of flippenings across the board. First coming from Congress, then recent flippenings from the SEC, and recent flippenings from the corporations and institutions. And just when you thought that the big ETF launch smashing all the previous records wasn't big enough, we find out that there's still many of the top investment companies that are yet to go live. Now, you may be thinking, yeah, this is all great, but why is the price struggling right now? Well, it's actually very common for price to deviate from its value. True value is increasing in the background, however, price can fluctuate above and below as people speculate, try to trade, and get caught up in fear and greed. And so to finish, for anyone freaking out about the prices right now, I'd say don't worry. It is still on track. It is happening. Patience is the key, and just don't get shaken out. So there you are, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Now you tell me, what was your biggest insights from all of this? Let me know below. However, just remember to get rid of 100% of the comment spam and trading bots that plague YouTube comments. We are trying out the new SuperThanks Commenting system. So to get your question or comment read and replied to, or just to say thanks, then use SuperThanks below. And for now, just to say, if you did enjoy anything in the video, then drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.